Hey there, I'm Apress. I just wanted to make this quick tutorial, show off how to do the Soul Catcher early control in Ancestral Mound. This is really good for any category where you're going to be picking up Soul Catcher as your first charm, because it lets you skip the whole charm tutorial pop-up. So it should save about 2.5 seconds for any category that's going to be picking it up and putting it on right away, which is a pretty decent chunk of time, especially if you're going for like top times or world record. But yeah, let me go ahead and kind of walk through the trick, and then I'll go break it down step by step, kind of show what I'm looking for visual cues, and kind of like where things could go wrong or what to look out for. So the main idea of the trick is we're going to be bringing one of these early balders down with us, so that we can hit it through an invisible wall here and have it hit us out of the charm pickup, just like that. Cool, so let's go ahead and start breaking it down step by step. Very first thing, you just want to make sure here, moving off of this platform to do a full jump, because if you do like a shorter jump and land on this platform early, the boulder starts rolling too early and you can't get it off. Yeah, first thing, just make sure you do a full jump here. Or it doesn't really matter, you can walk off or do a jump off. And you're just gonna set yourself up in position to up slash this second boulder over this little ledge. And then once you do that, it's just jump down here, fireball like normally. You might as well get the 2 hits off of the boulder we bring down, because we were waiting for a spit either way. So since we don't have anything else to do, just get that soul then. And then for the next part, setting up the damage tanks. I always like to up slash the boulder that... Okay, I messed that up. But I always like to up slash this boulder that gets sent. If it's low, kind of try and hit it over you. If not, just like jump and hit it in the air. That like kind of helps it roll for longer because you want it to hit off the wall and come back to you in just one roll if possible. Sometimes that doesn't work just because of the RNG. Here, let me go back through it. I can show where to stand for the damage tank next. So for this first damage tank, I like to go just a little bit to the left of this ledge. You can kind of see like the lineup from this wall if it came straight down. And I want to be just a little bit left of that. You're going to get in here and you're going to open your inventory. So I messed it up a little bit there, but let me go and explain step by step what I'm looking for. So yeah, standing about here, opening inventory so that you don't take any knockback. Once you get, so getting hit will actually turn you around. You'll start facing right. So you need to make sure to tap left before doing the nail swing. You don't want to hold it because otherwise you can just walk past the boulder. So just like a quick tap to the left, and that'll hit it through. You can see this is like an invisible wall they can't get through. Yeah, so you'll hit the boulder there. You then want to come, you're gonna need to lure it to roll to the right and bounce off of this wall, and that's what'll let it get over here. So you want to position yourself so you're just barely to the right of the center of the boulder. And that'll make sure it moves to the right, but also that you have time to come and pick up the charm, like while you still have iframes. Let me just go through that again. You can kind of pay attention to where I'm lining myself up. I messed up the jump there, but yeah, lining myself up just past the wall, tap left for just a second, and then slightly right to the boulder. So let me just show really quick with the actual pickup of the charm. So you want to be a little bit careful when you do it, because if you're mashing up to pick it up, you can kind of start the animation twice, it looks like, which is slower, and you'll get hit before you get far enough to skip the cutscene. So you can see like with debug mod where this pickup starts, this orange rectangle. So it's pretty much like once your second horn kind of gets past this skull or mask in the background as when you can pick it up. Yeah, you want to pick it up as soon as possible, obviously, but also make sure you're not mashing it so that you don't get that kind of weird pickup. But you'll pick it up and then hopefully the boulder will hit you out of it. Yeah, so just like that. Once you get hit, I like to wait just a little bit and then repress down, do that pogo so that you break the spike and kill the boulder. And then ideally just one of these planks will be left for you to break through and you can make your way out. And since you take some damage, but since you're going to be sitting on the bench to put on Soul Catcher anyways, we don't really care about the damage. So now before I end, there's just a few things I want to note. First is with these first two boulders, so the distance that a boulder rolls is going to be RNG dependent. And if you get 2 minimum distance rolls from the first two, you can kind of get screwed over. But there is a way to prevent that. It only matters in like really rare chances, probably not even like 1 in 30 times. So it's something if you really care about having it consistent, you might want to learn this, but personally, I think it's more trouble than it's really worth. But let me just show what you would do. You would want to be kind of quick and break this plank before you up slash the boulder here. Because if you get a really short roll, it can like land up here or land on the left side of the plank, where you're normally going to down slash past it. So it's a little bit tight to get that to happen, but it's not too bad. So then one last thing to show off. So this setup is consistent. It'll work with any RNG distances for these top two boulders, with the exception of maybe breaking this plank if you get the really short rolls. However, there's a faster setup that is a lot more dependent on RNG. It works maybe only 25% of the time. In here, let me kind of show what you would do for that. All it's going to be, you're going to come and hit this like normal, but instead of landing, you're going to pogo this boulder to the right. And you just want to do it in a way so that you don't get it to roll to the left. So that just means pogoing it up as high as possible. You can kind of see they have these rectangles, that's their like activation range. So if you pogo for max distance, you never trigger them. So ideally you won't trigger them until you land on this platform. So here, let me show what that would look like. Just like that. See, that seemed like it could have worked, but sometimes the boulders just act in really weird ways when they're with each other. What you want out of it is you want the first boulder to give you a really long roll, and it'll be far enough to just push the other one over. The whole thing will just look like this, and you just come down. And if that first boulder moved far enough and got far enough to the right, it'll push the second one over. And then from there, it works the same as the other setup. So that one is about 1.5 seconds faster on the setup. But again, only works about 25% of the time. The good news is that the setup for it, if you get the bad RNG, only loses about 0.3 seconds. So it could be kind of worth setting it up and just hoping that you get it. However, it does like kind of bring up problems with ComSob sheets potentially, where it's like, ideally you get this good RNG and then you have Soul Catcher for later splits, but most of the time you're not going to. So I don't know, it's a little bit of a weird strat. Might not be something that everybody's into. You kind of need to learn how to play with or without Soul Catcher for the rest of your run. But I kind of want to show it as an option because it is something that exists. Yeah, I guess just quick recap of what's probably the hardest part, which is getting this lineup down here. Just to reiterate, for this first part, you want to be just like a little bit underneath this wall. Make sure to open inventory. You need to tap left after you get hit to make sure you're facing left when you hit the boulder. You're going to move over, be slightly right of the center of the boulder and open inventory again. And then you'll come and walk, try and pick it up as early as possible, but make sure not to mash it. But yeah, I really hope this tutorial helps out with some people learning this. If you have questions about it, feel free to ask me on like Discord, because I'm happy to help people learn strats like this. But yeah, thank you for watching.